Welcome back. Joining me this morning is Darren Voros. I got it right?
Yes.
There we go. And we're going to talk about the world of home inspection. You're from the Home Inspection Network.
That's correct.
First off, buying, selling a home, always recommended that you do a home inspection because you want to know what you're getting into. Absolutely.
So, we always recommend, no matter what the situation is, to have a home inspection done on the house. It's a great chance for you to go through with a home inspector and find out what's going on with the major systems of the house. So the furnace, the hot water tank, the electrical panel, and basically get some information, and then also find out what are the issues that need to be taken care of right away, and what are some of the costs associated with those issues.
How do you know if a home inspector is a trained professional? Because some people claim to be home inspector. I got a buddy, he's a contractor, I'll bring him.
Yeah, there, as in any industry, there are good and there are bad home inspectors out there. So it's very important that you check out your home inspector, before you hire them. And like you hire a contractor, I would make sure that you check out at least 3 or 4 home inspectors, get references from them, and then check out their qualifications as well. So there are associations that can, tell you if a home inspector is a part of their association, and if they're a part of that association, it basically means that they've got, a minimum set of qualifications. So they've done 250 home inspections, for instance. They've got training, they're educated, and they're field tested. So they've been doing home inspections as their primary business for an extended period of time.
Home inspection doesn't include everything. You got to know what's going to be inspected. If a house has a pool and or spa, that's generally not included.
So those are called specialty services, and for the most part, a home inspector will not, for instance, look at your pool because he's not qualified, he's not an expert on pools. He can go through and look at the house as a whole, but if there's a wood-burning fireplace, for instance, he'll take a look at it, make sure that everything is, looks okay, but then he'll often recommend a secondary inspection by a specialist so they can drop a camera down the chimney and make sure that, in fact, the flue is good, and that before you fire it up for the first time, you don't have a chimney fire.
Say if you're buying a home and they say, hey, I've already got the home inspection done. Mm-hmm. You don't need to get a home inspector. Here's the whole package. What do you do in that circumstance?
Yeah, it happens a lot, because sellers want to get the upper hand and perhaps promote a bidding war, so they get a home inspection done and they hand it to the buyers and say, yeah, it's already taken care of for you. We always recommend to bring in your own inspector, somebody that you've vetted and trust, and bring them through the house and just to get a second opinion. It may, bring up nothing that the first inspector didn't bring up, but it's at least a little bit of peace of mind for you to say, yeah, we had our own guy come through, our own girl come through and take a look at the house, and we in fact sign off on this as well.
Here in Toronto, there's a lot of competitive bids, and we know right now staging has become popular. It's a great service, but at the same time, they can put window dressing along a lot of areas that if you go in and you do a proper inspection, you'll find them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the home inspector is trained to look for certain things, and we will always look at the furnace and the hot water tank, the electrical panel, and they'll go through the house and look at everything as a whole and give you, big picture items of things that really need to be looked after, and the timeline for those things as well.
You'll tell about the attic as well. You'll tell how much insulation is in the attic and what type of, how the retention of heat even for the home. It goes into further detail.
Yeah, a really good home inspector will also be able to bring in some energy efficiency things into the home inspection as well. So they'll tell you, for instance, yeah, your attic insulation is R12. It should be R50. That's current building code. Mm-hmm. And if you upgrade to R50, that's going to save you X amount of dollars in energy over the next 5 to 10 years, and a very little investment as far as upgrading your home.
If you get a bad home inspector, it's not like you can call them after you bought the house and say, you didn't tell me this.
Well, you can. They just may not answer.
There's really no recourse though, really.
No, there's very little recourse in home inspection. So that's why we always recommend knowing what a home inspection is and isn't in the beginning, and then making sure that you find out and get a qualified home inspector, because after the fact, it's very difficult. Your only recourse is legal action sometimes, which gets really complicated.
We only have 15 seconds. Competitive bid. You got to put the offer on that day. What do you do? Can you get a home inspector to come with you for that showing?
You can get what's called a verbal home inspection now sometimes. So a home inspector will walk through, do the exact same procedure as a regular home inspection, but they just won't produce a report. But at least it gives you an idea of what you need to spend over the next 5 to 10 years, and that way you can go in educated on a bid and say, okay, this is our cap, because we know we've got to spend $10,000 to $15,000 on the roof and the furnace over the next 5 years.
Well, thank you very much, Darren, from the Home Inspection Network. For more information, you can go to our website at bttoronto.ca. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, we're going to take a break. Home inspection. My wife's a realtor. I kind of know.
BT is brought to you in part by Tropicana Pure Premium. Tap into nature.